Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much for joining today in the Miracle Mind. And the Miracle Mind is in fact a moment together to look at what actually is A Course in Miracles. What is it really? What are we actually doing with it? Like what is it representing? What is it telling us? What is it really telling us? Like we have heard many things and everyone is talking about it in some kind of way, but what is it really? What does it actually do? Or where does it come from? And who wrote it and all this? But what is it really? Now, this you cannot see without your own involvement in actually practicing this. And so I'm inviting you to do so, that's for one thing. And on the other hand, we have an incredible support. And this support comes from out of time, whether that is Jesus of Nazareth, whether that is Master Teacher of A Course in Miracles, whether that is your presence. Where do you think you come from? Where do you think you really are? Now this is, the mystery we're diving into. And the mystery is more like the majestic incredibility of it than anything else. Like it's not hidden from anyone. So here's a beautiful possibility to say, here's something new. Now you gotta make sure that you understand what hearing means. Like when something is revealed to you, when you actually hear what is being shared, you cannot lose it. It is like you remember it. It actually becomes part of you. And that is really important. So it's like that you cannot lose that. So it is it is what is given to you in this moment to receive. Yeah, that has more impact than you can possibly imagine. It's like you cannot ignore that you have heard it. So that's what I want to warn you for, as far as there's a warning necessary. Once you hear this, what is being shared, you cannot not hear it. So it becomes part of you, and it invites you to actually confirm it in what you share. And this is what we call teaching. So not that you have to preach it from the street corners, but you can, the only action that you don't have to do, in fact, in order to teach is denying it. So that's a really different way of teaching it, isn't it? So you cannot avoid demonstrating what you believe. We know this. It's like continuously you're actually expressing, confirming what you believe yourself to be. You know, this is inevitable. You cannot stop it. You do it all the time. I had a bad day, I had a good day, I'm not sure about tomorrow, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, this world is so dangerous, or we have to do, we have all kinds of ideas. For instance, as an example, what am I teaching? This world is real. I'm living in this world. I'm threatened by this world. I think there's something out there that I need to protect myself against. That is then what I'm teaching. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same with truth. So that's why I say, if you hear this, what you hear now, what you hear in this moment together, if you hear that, the only thing you don't have to do is denying it. And that will do something with you. Because the more you hear, that changes the whole frequency patterns in your physicality. It is like suddenly your cells have recognized it. Your cells of your body, so this is also a physical experience. Your cells of your body have actually received the new frequency that is literally given to you by you understanding, by you receiving that energy. And it is nothing different than what you know from, for instance, homeopathy. Like a bit of information is, you drink it or whatever, a bit of information enters your system. Is there any information that you can actually prove that is in the medium that you're taking? No, there's no information in that. Here, this is even more subtle. Your mind receives this information. Now, what does that have to do with the body? Everything. Because this is an idea in your body. So this, when you, with your mind antenna, receive the message, that immediately extrapolates to every cell of your body. Now, what happens to the cell? The cell starts to vibrate in a different frequency. What does it do with the old genetic heritage that it carries with you? It actually changes it. Old memories disappear. Very old memories disappear. You literally, say, are mutating. It is really like a mutation. And is there physical or scientific proof of that? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know for sure that my body is functioning in a totally different way than if you would compare it to a normal human body. There's no comparison actually to be made. So it's really different. I'm not saying that I'm special in that. I'm just saying, like, receiving this message, receiving this information does something with your physical system. Also with your mental system. So even with your glandular system, your hormones are going to, like, your hormone balance is changing while this occurs. Like, I know this from physical evidence. And yeah, so what can I say more about that? Oh yeah. One important part of it too is then, once you hear it, old patterns or old neural patterns, neural patterns in your brain, as we always love to say that, in your brain, neural patterns in your brain are actually protesting. And that has, of course, a physical, physical inclination too. Your say, patterns are protesting because they cannot go anymore. They cannot flow anymore. They cannot be repeated anymore. So there are new neural pathways being made in your brain, new temporary neural pathways that allow you to come into an openness that is completely new to you. It offers you new possibilities. Old patterns disappear. Or you come into an incredible resistance in which you feel your body contract, like this, like it contracts. It does all kinds of things. So what do you do with that? Well, let it do its thing for just a moment. Allow it to change. Stay with your practice. Stay just right here. So this incredible resistance that you move through, it disappears too. Like within 24 hours, it's gone. Then it already sufficiently changed. So what can you say then about your old body or your old neural pathways? They're gone. So you have a brand new body. After hearing something, you actually have a brand new body. It's like you say to me, like, well, no, I had this incredible heart attack like 2 years ago, and I still receive the consequences of that. Like, okay, if that is what you want, that's fine. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just inviting you to let this body be brand new in this moment all the time. Like, yes, no, you have a new body. My heart is changing. Oh my God, there's no recognition of that. Like, there's no link to the past, even in your physicality whatsoever. I found this out in my first experience of healing. which I felt as an, say, complete shift inside my body, a complete rearrangement in my body. Say, the shift was this, is that I stopped smoking, for instance. I know that the moment that I stopped smoking, that I stopped drinking, that I stopped using drugs, that I stopped doing all kinds of things, it's like in that moment that I actually meant I have no need of that, it disappeared. So also my old body disappeared. Like from that moment on, I had no recollection that I ever even smoked or drank or all of this. Like that memory was completely erased by just allowing that change to occur. And it wasn't a big part of, it wasn't not really big on my part. No, it was just allowing that to occur and allowing my body to be new. I never ever have coughed from smoking ever after. I have brand new lungs. Wonderful, beautiful new heart. Absolutely fantastic. And you say like, well, that sounds too miraculous. I can't believe that. It's like, okay, then you don't believe that. That's fine. That's up to you. Like it does happen, and it is the change that is occurring until, yeah, you can prove to yourself otherwise. That's fine. That's your choice. Now, this is a pretty good, say, entree to what I'm actually going to share from the talk of Master Teacher. In this book, you see the doubting Thomas trying to touch Jesus's scars. And in this book, we're actually looking at this too, exactly where I'm at in what I'm sharing with you. And the great thing then is this, it gives you immediately a choice, but it might ruffle some feathers. Oh, God. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you in the way that you're used to. So here we go. Power of mind is singular. I already said something about that, but I want to put it in perspective here. So power of mind is singular. So what do you mean by that? Power of mind is singular. You can say in general, there is no opposing power. So there is only power of mind. Total power does not oppose. That means it is singular. There is no such thing as a duality or opposing powers. When you experience opposing powers, you're in the middle of mesmerism, of an hypnosis, thinking that there can be something opposite to you, forgetting the fact that you're whole and perfect as you were created by your Father, that I and my Father are one. How could there be an opposing power if there's just one of us, if there's just one power, which is God, which is you, as the Son of the Father? There cannot be an opposing power. So power of mind, power is singular. Power of mind is singular. It has no opposite. Okay, we're in the middle of a talk here. So Joel, Master Teacher says this way. It's interesting, this slip of mind. Master Teacher is saying it this way. You are very fearful of hearing, in fact, what A Course in Miracles is, what it actually is, what it really is. You're actually fearful of hearing this because you want to be yourself, right? You want to be yourself. And he says here, and die of cancer. Or going through the drama of losing the ones you love. Or who knows what your pain is. So you are very fearful of hearing what A Course in Miracles really is because you want to be yourself and die of cancer. Or any other, say, choice that you have here. Here in the sense of in your world. You continuously try to pick one of the things that are available as a distraction of you waking up from the truth, to the truth of who you are. It's dumb. This is the course. You are determined somehow to associate with this reality. You have the power of your mind to do that. Now here's the choice. You also have the power of your mind to be in God, in heaven. Why? Power of mind is singular. You have the power of mind to associate with a reality based on cancer, longevity, lack, disease, disaster. You have the power of mind to do that. Is that going to be your reality? You bet it is. It is your reality in that moment as you choose that to be your reality. Now, since power of mind is singular, you can also say, I can choose for heaven. Will heaven be my experience? You bet, absolutely. Is there something else but heaven? No. No, there's not. There's no opposite to heaven. In my experience of myself, if I deny heaven, I'm entering into a dream of limitation. Do I experience that as my reality at that point? Yes. Does it have anything to do with the reality that say relates to my real me, so to speak? No, it has no relationship to that. There only is your mind, no matter what you may think about it. There's not someone else. There's not something else. So your experiences is where this is all about. I believe in limitation. That is my reality. Is there heaven too then? No, there isn't. You know, it's like, no, your mind is the only thing that's going on. It's the only thing. There's nothing else going on. You determine, say, the shape or the form of the universe you believe to be true. Finally, you don't think about it at all. You simply are it. This is A Course in Miracles. So this is what we want you to learn, so to speak, or come to. Finally, you don't think about it at all, and you simply are it. This is A Course in Miracles. Now, who actually wrote A Course in Miracles? Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He says he wrote it. He wrote it. Where is he? In your mind, right here. Is he here now? Is Jesus now in your mind? Is Jesus Christ of Nazareth in your mind? Sure, he is. Yeah, sure. Are we here now with him? Oh, yeah, sure. Is all of this just a construct of my perception? Yes, it is. Power of mind is singular. There's only one thing going on. You believe that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is in your mind? He's present in your mind. Is he really there? Yes, he is. You are the one who is determined to separate your cause and effect and give identity to the illusion that is apparently outside of you, aren't you? See, this is the start of the trouble, you could say. I'm actually determining that there's a separate cause and effect, like a cause and effect are separate. I can be in a world that is attacking me. I think that what happened yesterday will influence tomorrow. I think there's a link between the past and this present moment, right? This is just what you think. Do I get the consequences of what I'm thinking? Yeah, absolutely. Does it hold any reality? No, not whatsoever. So you are determined. You are the one who is determined to separate your cause and effect and give identity to the illusion that is apparently outside of you, aren't you? Is there something outside of you? Is something threatening you? Do you need to protect yourself against something out there? Well, for most of us, you can say like, yes, that is the case. It appears that way. Does it hold any reality? No, not so. Not whatsoever. Is there anyone else out there? No, there's not. Is there only my mind? Yes, there is. Do I give identity to the illusion that seems to be outside of me? Yes. Don't do that, Master Teacher said. Don't do that. Don't identify what is apparently outside of you. Don't put your brother out there thinking that he does something to you. That's making the separation real again, and the whole story starts from the beginning. Don't do that. There is no sense in doing that. There is no conflict going on here. There is no conflict going on here. Is that the healing process? How could it not be? How would you not then think wholly with your mind? The idea of a bodily containment that separates you from reality is not so. Many of you, now here we dive deeply into the mystery, you could say. Many of you are undergoing a lot of déjà vu, as if you have already seen it before. That is, you are recreating in your mind a previous wholeness that you underwent. This is the positive part of déjà vu. It's like it's not an old memory. It is a present memory that you start to recognize. You're recreating in your mind a previous wholeness that you underwent. This will occur in the concepts of the principles of miracles. What you are doing, I think it will be there, is that you are changing temporal order. Like that's in the miracle principles. You are going to change the temporal order. You are taking past associations and giving them future frames of reference. You are reversing cause and effect. Everything that you've done in the past was actually done perfectly in the future. See, Master Teacher is twisting that around a little bit for you. Everything that you have done in the past was perfectly done in the future. Now, this we read the other day in the Course in Miracles. It's like you are actually looking back at all of this. Like probably we get to it in the manual for teachers too. It's like we're actually looking back at this, how this all occurred. And that's the mystery that I tipped on yesterday too in the spiritual healing class. It's like you have your past memories. Well, they have been perfected in the future. It's like you just looked at the failure of those while they already have been perfected. So there's no need for you to repeat that. You just need to know that they are perfected. So you don't need to do that. See, what I'm saying is this, is like cause and effect are not apart. So you think there's a past and there's a future, and that you project the past into the future. You project, you could say, past mistakes into the future. Oh yeah, that will happen again. Oh, it will be the same. Oh yes, we have all these expressions for it. Now in this miraculous healing procedure that you're in the middle of, as being, say, shared, taught in the miracle principles that we're diving into, you see that actually the temporal order is changing. Cause and effect are coming together. This means that what you think the past is going to be perfected in the future, and that is happening right now. So it's like you get the consequences of that in this moment. Another way of saying this, to make it clear, even more clear, another way of saying that is this timeline that you're thinking about, that you think is going on, like something happened yesterday and tomorrow is, and this is year 2000 something, 2024, you think that there's a continuity in that, which is not the case. So easiest said is like everything is going on at the same time, and that means that everything is available for you. That means also that the mistakes that you have been perceiving are already perfected, since everything is going on all the time. Now, do I need to believe this for it to be true? No, you don't. Do I need to believe this to be true in order to experience that? Yes. So that's the only thing. It's like you have an opportunity here to let this idea come to you, literally, like I said in the beginning. If you hear what is being shared to you, it makes total sense. But once you've heard it, you can try to deny it, falling into the same repetition of ideas and events. Or you say, allow yourself to come into this new you experience. New man. Metamorphosis to new man. You know, you saw that, maybe you listened to this podcast that I put up yesterday. Like metamorphosis to new man. That's the occurrence. All the memories are here. The ones that failed, the ones that are corrected, the perfect ones, they're all here. You see how, say, unnecessary it is to try to perfect this temporal sequence that you think you are in, if everything already happened and is perfected. Yeah, we're going deeply into it. I love it. Isn't it great? Now finally you understand why this is this way. Isn't it nice? Like, it makes total sense. Everything already happened. Why? Because this, what you think is going on, is already over. It was perfected. It was being brought home. Yes, you are in heaven. Do I need to undergo a process to get there? Well, what do you think? So the only function of the teacher of God is to speed up this process. So am I showing you that everything is already done? Am I showing you that all the memories that you can possibly have been perfected? Because everything is going on at the same time in you. There's not anyone else. In your mind, this is occurring. And you determine the outcome that you want for yourself. Like, we love to use this. I see these videos, like titles at least, I'm not watching them really, because it's not necessary. It says like, manifesting your abundance, manifesting your power, manifesting your disaster, manifesting, all these manifestation videos. How great is that? It's like, have you any idea how well perfected this already was? And that what you're trying to do now with your mind has already occurred and is perfected? So what is the motivation for you to do it then? In fact, to delay the homecoming? Why would you do that? Why is that necessary? It's like, mind is singular. There's nothing else going on. There's no other person. There's nothing that you need to achieve. Everything already happened. You're home in heaven. Now, what is your reason for delay? Anything? Like what? Yeah, you cannot avoid going through your process, you could say. And then I believe that that is so. So we're really getting at the crux of this, right? I'm telling you this. I'm recognizing this as the truth. I'm recognizing that this already occurred. Are you with me? Yes, you are. There's only one mind. See, this comes with all kinds of feelings that you think that there's something else going on, that there's a person outside of you telling you this. Like, no, that's not really the case. The same as with, yeah, where did this Course in Miracles come from? It's like, from Jesus of Nazareth? Oh my God, I can't believe it. From Jesus of Nazareth. Where's Jesus of Nazareth? Is he with us here now? Yes, he's in your mind. He's not only with us, he's with you in this moment. And yeah, are we in connection with him? Yes, absolutely. How many minds are there? Just one, yours. See how nice this is? How great is it? How great is this? All right, so continuing on then with some more expressions. I'm really having so much fun reading this. It's like feeling right at home. I just love it. So here we go. Many of you are undergoing a lot of déjà vu. You've already seen this. That is, you are recreating in your mind the previous wholeness that you underwent. This will occur in the concepts of the principles of miracles. What you are doing, I think it will be there. I think it will be there. It is that you are changing the temporal order. You are taking past associations and giving them future frames of reference. You are reversing your cause and effects. Everything that you've done in the past was actually already done perfectly in the future. It has been accomplished. You did it. You did it. How did A Course in Miracles get here? Well, you ordered it. It was a very definitive, well laid out plan in a segment of time, this time, to teach you to enlightenment of your own mind. So there it is. It's like, well, you can deny that it is there. Sure, as long as you want, but this is inevitable. One of the first lines in A Course in Miracles is, this is a required course. So you will use it to get out of this construct that you find yourself in. If it is not now, it can be in 20,000 years, or who knows when, but you're going to do it. Why is that? Well, you ordered this. You literally say this literally came to you because of your own request for it. And it's your way out of it, into the enlightenment of your mind. Obviously, God doesn't need miracles, does he? No. But you do, because you need the evidence of that reassociation of your mind. Now, what does Master Teacher mean with that? The reassociation with your mind is this, is that the facts that I just shared with you, that everything is already perfected in the future, that literally nothing needs to be perfected anymore or fixed anymore because it is already perfect. Now the evidence of that is what needs to come to you, and that's exactly what the miracle does. It shows you, yes, this perfection is in me. Yes, I'm still one with God. Yes, there's only one thing going on. Oh my God. That's A Course in Miracles. That's what A Course in Miracles really is. It is a device to help you to reassociate your mind with, like, it gives you evidence that you and your Father are one. That you're not sinful, that nothing goes on, like there's nothing going on outside of you. There is no such thing as an outside of you. It's all happening in you. There's only one mind, and this mind is singular. The power of your mind is singular. You recognize this. You recognize your perfection. You recognize the enlightenment of your mind. What does this have to do with the world that you associate with and the world that you identify with, that you can be someone in? Nothing. How could there be a greater miracle than the whole idea that somehow this thought form could be engendered out of time into a chaotic association of perception and sit here as a statement of reality? Like, what greater miracle? As if I'm selling these. It's like I'm selling miracles today. How great is this? Literally, like from out of time, comes into this chaotic association. Is it chaotic? Well, let's just check. Like, turn on your television, turn on your YouTube channel with the news, and you'll see this is a chaotic, or look at your own life. This is a chaotic place where everything seems to be opposing everything. Now, in that comes this blueprint, comes this way out of it with a 1-year course, every day one lesson, and that is sufficient to get you out of this, to get you, say, to get sufficient evidence that none of this is so, that none of this ever happened, that you're home in heaven, that you're not sinful, that you, like, none of that. So pretty wild, isn't it? It's the greatest miracle that could come to you. An actual device from out of time helping you to get out of time. Obviously, God doesn't need miracles, does he? But you do, because you need the evidence of that reassociation of mind. If you stop and think about it, how could there be any greater miracle than the whole idea that somehow this thought form, which A Course in Miracles is, could be engendered out of time into a chaotic association of perception and sit here as a statement of reality? Listen, if you can get away with teaching A Course in Miracles as first-person scripture, for instance, starting with the first lesson, which is what? The first lesson in A Course in Miracles. First person scripture, right? Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, means anything. This is great. It's amazing. So here's another reference, the Bible. Okay, so listen, if you can get away with teaching A Course in Miracles as first-person scripture, they will sell 10 million copies. And did. Why? It's first-person scripture. It's all about you. It's not about anyone else. They are dealing with 2,000-year-old scripture, the Bible, translated 3 times, clouded, and who knows what, and still coming through as a lot of truth. And that's the #1 seller in the world. So how would this then be in A Course in Miracles if you know really what it says and leave the text for what it is? Don't try to simplify it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to edit it. No, just say it exactly as it is. As in the Urtext manuscripts, for instance. That's why I love to use it. Like, not changed at all. Pure, directly coming through from outside of this frame of reference that you are so familiar with and that you got caught in, that you got like bound into. Here's your salvation. Now, how many people are there on this planet? So it might be 10 million copies or 10 billion, who knows? Like, this is your way out of it. We don't have to do anything else but just coming together in the morning, doing my lesson, And within 1 year, I have sufficient evidence that none of this is real. How great is that? Do I need to fight it? No. Do I need to, say, fight opposing powers anymore? No. Are you kidding? No, absolutely not. There's no opposing power. There's a singular power of mind, and it's yours. Can you imagine what happens to the mind that begins to accept this as actually being God speaking to man as scripture? A risen man talking personally, first person, to you. Wow, that's a delightful idea. It's very frightening. But we're in, right? It's very frightening, but it's too late. You heard about it. We're in. I love it. So power of mind is singular. Oh my God, I'm just so much in it. I can't believe it. All right, so now the next step then is to listen. We're going to listen to Master Teacher, and he's sharing, say, episode 4 in this Miracle Mind. So the talk is called Scripture of Resurrected Man, and it's part of the book. It's like in this book you see there are 4 talks put in there, and the first chapter is like is this. So now I'm going to pull that up for you, and we're going to listen to it together. And yes, it's with French subtitles. How great is that? So here we go. It's part 4 of A Course in Miracles.
Is he here now? Sure. Are we here now with him? Sure. Is all of this just a construct of my perceptions? Sure. Sure. You're the one that's determined to separate your cause and effect and give identity to the illusion that's apparently outside of you, aren't you? Don't do that. There's no sense in doing that. There's no conflict going on here. Is that the healing process? How could it not be? How would you not then think wholly with your mind? Huh? The idea of a bodily containment that separates you from reality is not so. Many of you are undergoing a lot of deja-vu. That is, you're recreating in your mind a previous wholeness that you underwent. This will occur in the concepts of the principles of a miracle. What you're doing, I think it'll be there, you're changing temporal order. Okay, you're taking past association and giving them future frames of reference. Okay, you're reversing your cause and effects. Everything that you've done in the past was actually done perfectly in the future. It has to have been. What you're doing is taking your mind from a future frame, which I'm directing you to do, and this will be one of the concepts that occurs in the principles of the Course in Miracles. How did the Course in Miracles get here? You ordered it. It's a very definitive, well laid out plan in a segment of time, this time to teach you to the enlightenment of your own mind. Okay, and I want the establishment to quit fooling around with it. I know they're going to fool around with it, but those of you who really want to accept the premises of it, you can call that faith if you want to, are going to what? Begin to experience the necessary, okay, realization of your own whole mind in the truth of this. That's what the miracle is. Obviously, God doesn't need miracles, does he? But you do, because you need the evidence of that reassociation of your mind, don't you? If you stop and think about it, well, how could there be any greater miracle than the whole idea that somehow this thought form could be engendered out of time into a chaotic association of perception and sit here as a statement of reality? They kept it in a dresser drawer for a year. This is very fearful stuff. It finally came out because it got diluted enough so that the consciousnesses could misinterpret it, obviously, since all the misinterpretations are false. That was so we could get it published, okay? Now, there's 700,000 copies of it sitting around somewhere. The publishers won't mind what I'm saying. They're going to sell another 700,000 copies in about 40 days. Okay. You might want to direct the publishers to stop making perceptual observations in the scripture of A Course in Miracles. Tell them you want a scriptural course. You want a course, the book that just says what it says. Okay, obviously, the additions of the perceptual interpretations of the course are absurd. That's what the falsity is. All right, they won't mind. They're obviously they want to sell books. Okay, listen. If you can get away with teaching the Course in Miracles as first-person scripture, okay, they'll sell 10 million copies, and did. Why? It's first-person scripture. There's so many, they're dealing with 2,000-year-old scripture translated 3 times, all right, and clouded and still coming through as a lot of truth, and that's the #1 seller in the world, you know. Can you imagine what happens to the mind that begins to accept this as actually being God speaking to man, as scripture, as a risen man talking personally, first person to you? That's a delightful idea. It's very frightening. We're in, though, right? We got 700,000 copies out. Okay. How many of the associate consciousnesses having to do with A Course in Miracles are going to not deny and attack it? All of them. That's what you've always done, is deny and attack this. That's the condition we just told you of your perceptual mind. It's not open to choice. All choice is the denial and attack on God. All right? Remember, we already know we're dealing with an impossible situation. You immediately took the mechanisms of the Course in Miracles and taught the mechanism rather than what the Course says, automatically. You said, ha-ha, we trapped God, He gave us a choice in this. No, He didn't. He's dealing with the impossible association that you can choose. So now you're building your groups around choice, which is absurd. It's senseless. It just becomes another establishment, doesn't it? Don't do that. What is necessary for me to come to know I'm my God? Undergo this transformation that you're undergoing. Does that have to do only with me in this dream? Yes, it does. Many of you, and I'm speaking in this room now, are undergoing very dramatic transformational shifts in your consciousness-mind associations. Okay. You are beginning to form genius in your reassociations to declare your creative capacities. I know you're doing it. Okay. This is just the spreading of the Course in Miracles through the freedom of your own mind associations. We want to give you that. The basis of the Course is to give you full power of your own mind. It's to broaden in you your concepts of yourself to a final concept of your own whole self, isn't it? That's what you're doing. So now we're faced with an impossible thing. We're saying that on the planet Earth, that a voice opened a channel from heaven, all right, and said words into a conscious perceptual mind that had no real understanding of it, but was at a purpose in its own karma drama where it could truthfully transcribe these whole words that came out. I know, I guess they're going to put up a statue to Helen, and I think that's lovely. But the necessity to identify the perceptual relationships that is described with the Course in Miracles is exactly the opposite of what the Course in Miracles teaches. It has nothing to do with personal identity, all right? It's a statement on the very first page and the very first assertion, all right, that the earth, that self-constructed fear, that death does not exist. And there's no sense in going any further with the Course unless you're going to at least fundamentally accept the premise. Why? Then you can begin to teach the Course. You must accept the premise, first, that truth is not here. Since truth is everywhere, this must be nowhere. Okay? Because this is not true. Yet I am caught in my own untruth, and I am faced with the dilemma of escape. All right? I want to be happy, but I can't find happiness here. I feel pain and sickness and death no matter what I do. I lose the things I love. This has prepared your perceptual mind for the admission of the Course in Miracles. Listen to me. To the direct extent you have used up your own memories in regard to how you can solve this problem, you'll listen to this. And to the direct extent you're determined to sit there and pretend that you can solve this problem within this limited association, you will deny this and literally not hear it. Why? Because your perceptual mind, which has defined the problem, immediately must solve the problem in its own mind. The problem cannot be outside of itself. It keeps finding the solution in time. There is no such thing as time, and in that sense, the body really doesn't exist at all. It only thinks within its own cause and effect, declares itself to be real, and stays within the tension of its own perceptual thoughts. Okay? This is the answer. One problem, one solution. You are the problem. You can be the solution. Because no problem cannot be inherently solved within the perceptual association of itself. The sole necessity is that you declare wholly that you are the problem. Okay? I forgot. I put that on the front page here under instruction. The only thing I need to do for vision, happiness, release from pain, complete escape from sin, to be in heaven. Oh, I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goals that I would achieve, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Period. Hey. Now, you guys with new minds get very happy about that. Now, you're going to test the spirit of that when you're attacked by your own thoughts that are sitting out there because you forgot you made them and you're going to defend yourself. That's the teachings of the workbook, isn't it? Stop defending yourself from your own thoughts. That's the practice of forgiveness. But remember this. It's hard to teach this. You guys are really hearing me. Each time you don't defend yourself, the miracle literally occurs. It has to, because just in that moment, which is all the time there is, you stopped your judgmental proceedings, lifted yourself out of time, and became real. Why? Because reality is all around you. That's what I'm going to read you now. That's exactly what this is going to say in the preface to the Course in Miracles, isn't it? It's going to say that. This is thrilling. This is a... Can you imagine a teacher and a voice says, this is the Course... What? What? The momentum of this coming into this voice, into this mind, is an incredible idea. It was taped. It could be turned on or off. It was all done. Once it got organized, in the first 4 chapters, there's a little necessity to identify word associations within the vernacular of the perceptual mind. Sometimes there's a few words used in that. But after that, it falls into a real high association of truth, much like the mind that's talking to you now is doing. It will fall into that total reassociation of itself. Listen to me. This is a Course in Miracles. Okay? It is a required course. Literally. It doesn't have to do with a blue and gold book. It has to do with a Course in Miracles. A course from death, apparent death, to life. It's a necessity. It's required that you do it. It's the only thing that is required, isn't it? Only the time you take it is voluntary. Okay? Only the time you take it is voluntary. Why? You're the denier of it. You have established time to deny it, not to acknowledgement. The moment that you've invented time, okay? The moment you decide to shorten time, inestimably, you'll be in heaven. You simply will step out of time. Remember, though, that that time is at your own disposal, isn't it? That's what this says. Now, free will does not mean free to die. Does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. Okay? You can't establish the necessity of coming from sickness and death to life, because the curriculum is all of you. This is very difficult for you perceptually to see. You cannot establish the curriculum because it includes all perceptual thought. Your establishment is the limitation of the curriculum. Do you understand me?
Yes.
All right. You cannot establish the curriculum. Okay? It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. Now, obviously, and that's what you're doing. I'm asking you to elect to take the whole thing now.
Yes.
I am telling you from an enlightened association that you can do it through the miracle of your own disassociation from death. All right? Good. Okay. Now, the Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love. Why? Love is its own meaning. That is beyond what can be taught. You can't teach love. It is what it is. Now, it does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. All perceptual mind is nothing but a block to the love of God or reality. You are that block. There is no other block but you. When you remove the obstacles of the necessity for your own miscreations, that is, to hold yourself separate from wholeness, you will be whole. Why? That's what you are. Okay. It's nothing what then? A relinquishment of your own thought. A removal of your own grievance. A letting go and letting God. A surrender to yourself. Wow. Now, the opposite of love would have to be fear. I'm afraid. I can't love. I'm afraid. You're going to attack me. I'll love you for a minute, but you're going to get me, right? You're afraid of God. But what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. What that says is there's no such thing as fear. How could there be? What would be fearful? Is God fearful? Did He create you perfectly? How can you be fearful? What is it you're afraid of? Can you be afraid of yourself? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, this Course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened because reality is God and it's whole and there's nothing to threaten it. That's what I just said. Okay, got it? Nothing unreal exists. Okay. Nothing unreal exists. Okay? Okay. When you are fearful, you are non-existent. I wrote that in there. Everybody should write that into their Course. We decided that would be a nice sentence to give you. Okay. Otherwise, you'll identify yourself as yourself and say, I have fear, or I am fearful. Do you see what you've done? Well, the ego tells me not to be afraid. No, you can't have fear. When you are fearful and you are here, you are fear. Yes. See? I am fear. Each moment I am fear. Not I am having objective fearful thoughts that I'll defend myself from. I'll have other things that I'm not afraid of. No, perceptual mind is what fear is. Yes. Do you see it? How can fear love then if it's an attention of its own identity? It can express the passion of its miscreations. It can call it love and it can hold it in temple, but it must be disillusioned by its own mind. Okay? Okay. When you are fearful, you are non-existent. Where does the peace of God lie? Here. Herein lies the peace of God. Fear is unreal. The earth is unreal. This cannot be so. If this is so, how could God be peaceful? Nobody will answer me. The nutty minds say, well, he's conflictual. That's all just nonsense. What are we going to have to do with this impossible situation? We're going to have to get you perceptually miracle-minded, okay? We're going to have to get you to re-identify yourself in a broader range of consciousness identity. We're going to have to get you to undergo the metamorphosis that many of you are experiencing now, aren't they? All right. Why? This is your whole mind construct. Everything around you, what, is changing now as you change your mind, huh? This is all contained in the Course.
So I'm happy that you joined me in listening to this. You see, we're really getting into something here, and which is a total speed up. Like, apparently this is the time to hear it, to actually bring in what the Course in Miracles really is. And it has nothing to do with what they say, like it has nothing to do with the blue book, because it was edited, you could say, but it has to do with the Course in Miracles. Now, I'm not going into like fighting against the blue book. No, there's sufficient truths in there, you could say. There's sufficient training possibilities in there that can help you to let the evidence come to you that what your true identity is in the wholeness of your mind. And yeah, so that's the most important part. It still works, absolutely. But it's great to hear what it really is, and it becomes more and more clear. And yeah, that's so great. It really is time for that. Because it is like the only one who has to accept this is me, is you hearing this. I join you in that, hearing this. We're one in hearing this. This is the only place where we communicate. For the rest, as Master Teacher says too, it's like for the rest it is, you're the embodiment of fear. You are fear itself. That's your self-construct. That's your self that you so want to keep. It is your fear. It is fear itself. Does that have anything to do with the love of God? No, not at all. So now, coming back to then the final phrase, you could say the slogan of today is like, mind, the power of mind is singular. You literally determine where you want to reside. Making no choice, you are in heaven. Making a choice to be here, what you think this world is, you're in hell. You're literally choosing to be in a place of limitation. You get all the consequences of it, no exception. So giving that up, you say open yourself up for the truth of you, seeing that you never left the wholeness that you are a whole part of. The only thing you left behind was an untrue idea about yourself that you held on to. That is all. So this is truly what A Course in Miracles is. Gathering evidence of where you really abide. I love this. So thank you so much for paying attention and listening and allowing yourself to hear what is being shared. Because once you've heard it, like I said in the beginning, once you've heard this is actually going to do something with you. All right, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much.